Hello and welcome back to the channel. In the previous video, we talked about the overview of the purpose of this repository that I name it HQDC Network Automation. I mean 2-tier HQ plus 3-tier DC repository. In the last video, we talked about the purpose, we talked about the structure of the lab, and here we want to go through the repository and see what we have. First of all, let's see why 2-tier versus 3-tier. In a 2-tier, collapsed core design, access switches connect to a pair of multi-layer switches that combine core and distribution functions. The access layer provides connectivity for end devices, and the distribution layer aggregates the access switches. Having only 2 tiers reduces cost but introduces a single point of failure if a multi-layer switch fails. And for a 3-tier architecture, we can say that it adds a separate core layer for backbone routing. Each access switch connects to two distribution switches, which in turn connect to redundant core switches. This design is more scalable and resilient, but also more complex and expensive. Here we have the repository that demonstrates both models. The HQ side uses a 2-tier architecture, core distribution collapsed, while the DC uses separate core distribution and access layer. Here, as you see, we have the repository structure. We have inventory file, we have host variables, we have group variables, and also Ansible configurations. First of all, let's see what we have here for the, let me, here and here. Wait a moment. And also here. As you see, let me make it shorter, but have the Explorer here in our side. Here in inventory file, you can see we have hosts.yml that defines host groups and device management IPs. And groups include HQ core, HQ access, DC core, DC dist, and DC access, and finally firewalls. Each device's management IP is listed under its group. For example, the HQ core switch, core 01 and core 02 are reachable at 192.168.111 and 192.168.112, while the data center core switches, core SW01 and core SW02 are at 192.168 and 211, and finally we have 192.168.212. And firewall hosts are defined with their own network OS, cisco.asa.asa, as you see here. We have the structure that we have here: children, we have HQ core, HQ access, DC core, DC dist, that is for distribution layer, and here DC access, and finally we have firewalls. And as you see, we have variable here that is for Ansible Network OS, that is cisco.asa.asa. And here we have some vars in all section that are Ansible user, password, and Ansible Network OS, connection, Ansible become, and become method. For this part, as you see, we have Ansible user. We can have it by Ansible vaults, but here we just use this simple method for having our Ansible password. After that, we have host variables, as you see here. Let me show you. For example, we can open some of them. Here it is for access SW01. As you see, each device has a corresponding hostname.yml format for each one. As you see, access SW01, access SW02, That is the same for core switches, for firewall, and also for other switches. For example, core 01.yml, as you see here, we have it here, specifies VLANs that are IDs from 10 to 40. SVI addresses, for example, VLAN 10 at 10.1.1.1/24, and L3 links to the firewall and peer core. Trunk ports for access switches and OSPF settings, and also similar files exist for other switches and firewalls. And finally, we have the group variables here. As you see, we have, for example, all.yml defines global parameters such as NTP servers, syslack servers, SNMP community, as you see, net-mon domain name. And we can say that here, for example, we have the domain name lab.local as we use, and the time zone. And finally, we have Ansible CFG, that is Ansible configuration file. That is defining global parameters and defaults like the inventory path, the disabling of SSH host key checking that sets cd out callback to YAML and disables retry files. It also points the roles path to the roles directory. These are the main parts of our inventory and variable files structure. In the next video, we want to go through the playbooks and the roles that we have in the repository.